build mystery, emotional depth, and masculine tension. Let me ask you something most men never stop to think about. Why is it that a young, beautiful woman, the kind that makes heads turn when she walks into the room, will suddenly become nervous, curious, and even submissive in front of a man twice her age? It's not the money, it's not always the looks, and it's definitely not the desperate tricks most men try to use. It's something deeper, a mysterious masculine energy that radiates from the older man who's mastered himself. A presence that says, "I've been through fire. I've been tested. I don't need your approval, and that's exactly why you want mine." She may never admit it, not out loud, but women are obsessed with this energy because it makes them feel something most younger guys never can: safe, desired, and overwhelmed with feminine surrender. You see, the modern world is loud, fast, emotional, and most men, they're trapped in it, chasing attention, chasing women, chasing everything that makes them look desperate. But the stoic older man, he chases nothing. He attracts, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how. 10 primal things older men do, without even realizing, that trigger deep, obsessive attraction in younger women. Let's start with the first one. Part 1. Emotional self-control is the ultimate aphrodisiac. She doesn't want to manage your feelings. She wants to feel your strength. Everywhere a young woman looks, she sees emotional chaos. Drama on Instagram, arguments on TikTok, boys getting triggered over the smallest things, emotionally fragile men who can't handle being left on red. She's tired of it. That's why, when she meets a man who isn't easily moved, who's calm when others panic, centered when others spiral, she feels something ancient inside her awaken. Emotional control doesn't just make you calm, it makes you safe. And safety is a feminine trigger. When she knows you're not going to yell, cry, or collapse when things get hard, she begins to trust you on a primal level. Most men chase her attention. The stoic man controls himself, and that control makes her want him. It's not about being emotionless, it's about being unshakable. And when she feels that grounded energy, she starts to fall fast. Part 2. They don't seek validation, and that drives her wild. The less you need her, the more she wants you. Younger men are addicted to one drug: approval. They post selfies, flex in the mirror, buy clothes they can't afford, DM her 1,000 times, all in hopes of being seen, liked, chosen. But the older stoic man, he doesn't need to be chosen. He chooses. This difference is electric to a woman. He doesn't beg for her attention. He doesn't text her 24/7. He doesn't explode with joy when she replies. Instead, he's rooted in himself. When she feels this emotional independence, she gets confused, because most guys care too much. But he doesn't even flinch. That calm detachment is irresistibly attractive. The older man isn't trying to impress her. He's too focused building something real in his business, his body, his mission. He doesn't post for attention. He doesn't chase validation. And that lack of neediness, it makes her need him. Part 3. Their silence speaks louder than words. You don't need to say everything. The right pause makes her beg to know more. Younger guys talk too much. They overshare, overexploit, overcompensate. They fill every silence because they fear losing attention. But an older man, a man who's studied stoicism, who's faced real life, knows the value of saying nothing. When a woman says something dramatic, he doesn't argue. He listens. When she tries to provoke, he doesn't react. He smirks. When she gets close, he doesn't over-explain. He lets her feel the tension. And in that space, in that silence, her imagination begins to run wild. She starts to wonder, what is he thinking? Why didn't he chase? Does he even want me? Why does that turn me on? This is the art of masculine silence. It doesn't mean being passive. It means being powerful enough to let your presence speak for you. The older stoic man doesn't fill space. He creates it. And in that space, a young woman finds something she's never experienced before. A man who makes her heart race without saying a word. Part 4. Purpose over pleasure, the masculine mission that turns her on. Women aren't drawn to men who chase them. They're drawn to men chasing something bigger. Most younger guys chase one thing, her. They make her the center of their lives, texting her non-stop, adjusting their goals to please her, and giving up their own dreams just to get closer. But older stoic men, they've already learned chasing women is a trap. Instead, they pursue something greater, their purpose. Whether it's building a business, sculpting their body, writing a book, leading others, or mastering a skill, They are mission-driven. And here's the paradox. The less they chase women, the more women chase them. Why? Because when a man is locked into his purpose, he's in his masculine core. He radiates discipline, energy, direction, vision. And that's the ultimate feminine magnet. She sees this kind of man as rare. He doesn't waste time. He doesn't chase drama. He leads life, and that makes her want to follow. It's not about ignoring her. It's about showing her that even her beauty doesn't distract you from your mission. That's power. That's presence. That's attractive beyond words. Part 5. Depth of experience is irresistibly sexy. She doesn't want a boy guessing. She wants a man who's been there. There's something magnetic about a man who has lived through storms, not just survived, but learned from them. Younger guys often lack this depth. They react to situations emotionally. They complain, compare, and collapse. But an older man, he's seen heartbreak. He's tasted failure. He's faced betrayal, chaos, maybe even war inside his own soul. And because of that, he walks with something rare, emotional wisdom. When a woman talks, he listens, not just with his ears, but with his eyes. He hears what she means, not just what she says. And when he speaks, his words carry weight. He doesn't need pickup lines. He doesn't fake confidence. He's been through enough to understand life and women at a deeper level. And that creates an emotional safety net that most younger men simply can't offer. It's like she's walking into a storm. And this man is the calm center, grounded, patient, unshaken. And in that moment, she knows. He's the one I can lose control with, because he's already in control. Part 6. Masculine boundaries make her surrender. If she can push you, she'll never trust you. Women will test you, not because they're cruel, but because they're wired to feel out your strength. They'll say things just to see if you react. They'll pull away to see if you chase. They'll push your buttons to see if you lose control. And if you do, she'll respect you less, even if she stays. But older Stoic men, they've seen these tests before. They don't flinch. They don't argue. They don't beg. They simply draw a line, calmly, firmly. And that line is called a boundary. If she crosses it, he walks. Not out of anger, but out of self-respect. This shows her something powerful. This man won't be manipulated. He values himself more than my approval. And strangely enough, that's what makes her feel safe enough to surrender. Because if he can stand up to her, he can stand up to the world. And when a woman senses that, her testing stops, her walls fall, and she lets her femininity flow. Part 7. Their slower, intentional energy feels like confidence. The fastest way to look insecure is to move like you're in a rush to impress. Most young men are in a hurry with their speech, their movements, their decisions. They rush through conversations. They nervously talk too much. They overgesture, over-apologize, oversell. Why? Because they're afraid of losing her interest. But older men, they move slowly and intentionally. They're not trying to impress. They're trying to observe, assess, enjoy. He enters a room with measured pace. He makes eye contact without blinking. He pauses before answering questions. And what does this signal? Control, poise, confidence. A man who moves slowly tells the world, I'm not rushed. I'm not desperate. I own this moment. That energy is unforgettable to a young woman because it triggers her deepest attraction switch, a man who's fully present. And in his presence, she finally feels what she's been craving. Masculine energy that doesn't chase, doesn't flinch, and doesn't rush. Part 8. Their style reflects inner clarity, not trend chasing. He doesn't dress to impress. He dresses to express who he already is. Let's be clear. Women notice everything. Your shoes, the fit of your shirt, the way you groom your beard, even the way your watch sits on your wrist. But what really turns them on? Authenticity. Younger guys tend to follow trends. They copy Instagram influencers. They try on styles that scream, look at me. Older Stoic men don't chase trends. They understand this. A style is the outer reflection of your inner identity. That's why they keep it simple, clean, and masculine. They know what suits their body, their age, their energy. They aren't flashy, but they're unforgettable. And because their style comes from clarity, not confusion, women feel it. It says, I've figured out who I am, and I don't need clothes to prove it. This subtle confidence translates into physical attraction. Because when a woman sees a man comfortable in his skin, she imagines herself being close to that skin. Part 9. Their silence isn't weakness. It's magnetic power. He who speaks little commands the most attention. There's a reason women feel curious, even addicted, to the man who doesn't talk too much, because most men overshare. They talk endlessly about themselves, over-explain, and try to fill every silence with noise. But older Stoic men, they understand one truth. Silence is strength. When she asks a question, he answers briefly but meaningfully. When she tells a dramatic story, he doesn't get emotional, he listens. When something goes wrong, he doesn't panic. He pauses, reflects, and responds. This kind of emotional control is rare. It creates mystery, presence, gravitas. She starts wondering, what is he thinking? Why doesn't he need to prove himself? What's his story? And suddenly, she's the one chasing him, trying to decode him. Because when a man knows his value, he lets the world and women come to him. Part 10. Their emotional control creates emotional security. Women feel safest with men who don't get shaken. Emotions are like waves. They rise, crash, and fall. But most young men, they drown in them. They get jealous, angry, insecure, reactive. They fight over small things. They spiral if she withdraws affection. They beg for attention or lash out when they don't get it. But a Stoic man, he doesn't fight the wave. He observes it. And because of that, he masters it. His calm becomes her safe space. When she's emotional, he stays grounded. When she's scared, he brings certainty. When she's chaotic, he stays composed. This doesn't mean he's cold. It means he's centered, and women are magnetically drawn to that. Not just for attraction, but for long-term emotional connection. Because at the end of the day, the man who can regulate his emotions is the man who can handle hers. That's not just attractive, that's irresistible. Final word, why this truth matters now. The truth is, most men spend years chasing techniques, pickup lines, dating hacks, texting strategies, but they miss the deeper truth. The more powerful you become inside, the less effort it takes to attract her. Young women aren't obsessed with older men because of wrinkles or age. They're obsessed because these men have learned how to master themselves. They don't seek validation, they own their value. They don't beg, they walk away. They don't try to please, they live with purpose. So if you want women to chase you, desire you, and surrender to you, don't focus on her. Focus on becoming him, the grounded, wise, Stoic masculine force she can't resist. Because once you do, she'll feel it before you even say a word.